Now, how do we know which one suits us? Is it what we grew up in? Is it the choice we choose in the time that's around us? Or is it the right choice of education we've gone through and experiences? And where are we to today in those things collectively? We've got all these things individually, a little bit like people dying and going to heaven and collecting information to a source, some people would say. And where are we today with all that information that we've collected and able to keep when we collect? Right, which is pretty much in the moment of now, is allows you to show you all that information. So no matter what happened in life, going up and down, you're in the now, and that's the outcome of all your what's going on. And you can look back of how much peace or non-peace you've had to get to that outcome that we are today. So it is a moment of where are you up to today when it comes to, I'll give you three choices: love, trickery, and selfishness. No love, their outcome only. Right? It just is. It's just this law, this kind of thing. Or love, where they use science and all the things that they've learnt collectively, got the basics. They rather use love first, which is doing science right, before they do other outcomes. Right? And they can do a little bit of the other two. Love is a bit complex because it pretty much has a lot all mixed in, but at a balance. So love, in the end, I'd like to call a balance, right? The more better balance, the more better love there is there. And you don't need coolness for love, right? It's all about functioning and being sustainable, right? And then, so, no, I won't chuck it in. So we've got three. So with those three, what do we see? We see out there mainly when you have love, you already have countries that have people around them, and if the other country in the middle is doing better, they would, if they wanted a shield, we'll put this in a way of putting it out, they wanted a shield, they would have helped the other countries around them. Right? And then further out, if you wanted more walls of shield when it comes to foot industry, right, and planes and all that, because we can defend for all of it, right? So they're a shield, depends on what defense and what they're capable of doing. The more of that, and they like you, right, and if they still like you, more likely they're going to stick up with the basic rights and stuff, and hopefully it's all that area, right? And they're on your side, more likely it's going to be hard for the enemy to infiltrate. Right? It takes longer to get to you. Right? As you got love, and you're all willing to do the same thing. And when they go through issues, you're all got to also be there for them. So you're always backing them up. So every line needs to stay. When it falls back into the other line. Right? So when a line has trouble, if there's kids there or anything like that, you've got to expect, and you want on a contract, that your country will take our kids. As soon as we know trouble's coming, and it's inevitable, and we've got information, we want to know that you're going to protect us. Right? That's what you'd expect in a love protection. Basics like that. And you'll do the best ability to help us. We know that you need equipment as well, right? Sometimes the last resort needs the best, like last missile defenses and things that need to be protected that can shoot off, and storage and all that kind of stuff, right? And you just work together like that with love, right? And no one needs to be any better than anyone, really. They can all be in their own spots because they all end up being a line of defence, as long as they have that first basic connection, right? And then you got trickery, right? And when you have that, you would already have that set up, and that would be a hard defence to get in. So we already had love, and we learnt from our last experience here in Australia. I'll give you an example. We were already have very good missile defence at Fiji, and all these things, and shipping docks and all these things at places on islands around us, if we can, like China's doing, building islands to get those things. And the more better connection, the more better that defence would be, because the first line of defence is the one that holds off the things the most. That the enemies can win, that gives them good morale to keep on going, and it shows that you're not very good at war tactics, because you want a good, strong first line defence, right? And put a bit of effort into it instead of just having a crappy one. Unless it's just a basic first line, but I mean a main line that you don't want to lose when it comes to connection to the world, right? Which is shipping yards and all those kind of things. What I'm quickly trying to say. And so if we did all that already, we'd already be laughing in certain areas. And we would have got all that done without building islands and stuff like that. Right? And that's love. And if you haven't, well, and you only go in when you need to, that can be classed as love a little bit, but trickery. Because you're only asking for things when you're in need. Right? And then hopefully after that, you'll learn. Have you ever heard of spies going, or people who infiltrate people going, oh, but I learned to love you, I found out this, right? If that's true, then after that, there should be you wouldn't see the trickery happen again. But if it's not true, and they try to say it is and all these other things, then you'll see the outcome of they're going to need to do trickery, right? But if it becomes true and they fell in love with you, you would have an outcome today if we learn a lesson and use love, that we wouldn't be panicking so much, is the best way of putting it here in Australia, and needed to put the defence up again, because we were pretty much doing a repeat of World War II. Now, we can still get through it, but we're going to get... World War II took a while, doesn't it? It took a while. We could have had things prevented, that not happening, right? Or be shorter from previous one. So when are we going to learn? And it's sad to see that we haven't learnt yet, have we? Right? I was going to make this as short, but it's starting to get a little bit difficult to make them into shorts. So I'm going to extend it and just leave it at this last one. And so when you have trickery, you're going to get that, right? And trickery people will... Mostly, you might get the American outcome where they were meant to be allied, but they're not going to come to the last minute. They like to be more number one. Trickeries are more like we first kind of people that I've tried to explain before. And they would rather use trickery. And they'll do things when they need to, if they can't fool you, right? A little bit like a magician. With his tricks. Once you know it, you can't be fooled. You won't be fooled again. But they'll use these trickeries to try to get over you, to get you to give them some money and make them live and have a job and be cool or whatever it is. Right? And then you have bad. And bad will usually go quiet. You'd see this in Russia and North Korea, things like that. And when they come out, they'll come out with trickery. Right? And they use the other two. So everything, see, trickery uses all things. Right? And everything uses all three in the end. But they use one thing mainly. Right? And trickery will be mainly trickery, first themselves. And nearly like the bad guys, but they smile on your face tougher. It's different, isn't it, in the middle? Right? And then you got the bad guys, which will go quiet. You'd easily know that they're tricking you. Right? They're telling you one thing, but you can see another, which is what people talk about in North Korea. Things like that. And they won't be able to get the connection, so they'll have to build a lot. They have to work more. Usually when you go singly, it becomes a harder job. And that's what they do with their own collective. So their collective works super hard, right, to try to hopefully get an outcome. Right? And you look at all the countries, you go, so what outcome are they're trying to achieve? Right? And why? And when they be nice, these countries, right, bad ones, or even trickery, you got to be looking out for these. What's their outcome? Now, with trickery, it might be just they just want a little bit from you, right? And they'll go 50-50. And if you catch them out, they go, oh, sorry. If they go too far, they might have a bit of a heart. You go, look, I can't get that far. Right? You get that from trickery. And bad will be like, yeah, I'm helping, but there will be an outcome where we win. Right? You win this gamble, and do little bets. Next minute, I'm going to do a big bet, and I'm going to get you because I'm bad and I already got set up to rig you and get you. Right? And you're going to expect that to happen. So they're being nice to suck you in. That's why they do that part, to get you to do the big bet, because that's where they're going to get you. And you've got to expect that from bad guys. So usually a bad country, collective country, if they're working with you, so if you expect North Korea to be working with another country, and we already talk about it in the news now, they say that they're up to no good, right? Or they're going to do something bad to some country. Don't trust them. And all these things. And it's true. Until over time they earn something else collectively. Right? And we've talked about what brings down a business or a collective is you can only need a few bad people in your business to give you a bad name. Definitely if you leave them in there, and it constantly happens, those problems within that business, right, will bring your business down to be just as bad, because time proved that you didn't fix nothing, and it keeps showing that you keep doing bad things and you're trying to pass the buck with a little, and so you've got trickery and bad people within a business. A good business, nothing would, in love and life lessons and no trickery, you wouldn't see things last too long, right? Like when love comes into a crying child, love does everything possible in its means, without going too far, to try to stop the baby from crying. And the more they can do that, the more loving parent they are, or a connection to the baby or whatever they're trying to love, as they're doing more for it to the best of their ability and liking it. Right? If you do everything for lots of love, a lot of people do this in business. They love something until the end, or a rich person, as you see, pushing their kid until the end to get the outcome that hopefully the kid will see a point and then pay them back. So they give a lot of love to get the kid to be a superstar, to hopefully you can get the benefits, or the kid to pay back what they believe they need from all that love they give. So it's not real love, right? And that's a trickery love. Right? So you got to be careful about love out there. Love is usually, if they've got it and it's staying, they would use that first choice all the time and don't expect nothing. And if you all do that collectively, in the end, you shouldn't have to worry about things, because you might all get more love. Some might get more love than others. That's because we're not all the same, and some need more love than others, like the crying baby, right? And that's always going to be there. People with problems and need more loving, but hopefully with caring and with genetics and sorting out issues, why things come out the way they do, and use more love, hopefully you get more of a loving outcome, to fix those errors and not go too far. So when you play with genetics, it's good to fix things that are bad, but not try to extend things but perhaps is already good, like the old milk ad. If you've ever seen that, they go, why did they tamper with milk? It was already good, right? Oh, what happened to all the trees? Right, now we've got machines that need these. There's certain areas where they should have left alone. They shouldn't tamper with so much, in that field. If it's already working, let nature be in certain fields and not tamper with it. So I believe that you shouldn't tamper with genetics of food or anything like that unless there's a need to do that, not a financial need, right? Or a need because you believe it's easier, right? Which is still another sin need. It should be you're doing something because it has to be, for the good, and there's no other way around it. So you're playing with things that perhaps you shouldn't, right? Anyway, have a good one, and see you later.